So based on the current roster projection, which is with Mikey Williams but without DeAndre Williams, BartTorvik.com has Memphis 37th. If you take Mikey Williams off the roster and add DeAndre Williams to the roster, Memphis jumps from 37th to 13th in the country with a starting lineup that probably looks like this. Point guard Javon Quinterly, transfer from Alabama. Next to him, Caleb Mills, transfer from Florida State. On the wing, David Jones, transfer from St. John's. In the front court, DeAndre Williams, who started his college career at Evansville. And then in the middle, Jordan Brown, who played at Arizona, then Louisiana, and is now on campus at the University of Memphis. That's 5 players who all started their college careers somewhere other than the University of Memphis, which is sort of a reflection of where we are in the sport right now. It's also 5 players who have all averaged double figures in points. 2 former conference preseason players of the year in Caleb Mills and Javon Quinterly. You've got Jordan Brown, who was once the Pac-12 Six-Man of the Year. You've got some really talented, accomplished guys at the collegiate level. Maybe none of them project as lottery picks or first-round picks, but that starting lineup, Quinterly, Mills, Jones, Williams, Brown, that's a really good college basketball lineup. And also a really old one. Javon Quinterly is 24. He turns 25 in November. Caleb Mills is 22. Turns 23 later this month. David Jones is 21, turns 22 in November. DeAndre Williams is 26, turns 27 in October. Jordan Brown's 23, turns 24 in December. So on opening night, Memphis could start a 21-year-old, a 23-year-old, 2 24-year-olds, and a 27-year-old. Average age, 23.8 years old. By January, that starting lineup would be a 22-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 25-year-old, and a 27-year-old. There are scenarios, the average age of that's 24.2. There are scenarios where the Tigers and Grizzlies could play on the same night next season, and the Tigers could run out a starting lineup that is older
right.
than the Grizzlies' starting lineup. It would almost certainly be the oldest starting lineup in college basketball next season. And I would assume it would have to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest, starting lineup in college basketball history. Maybe you could find a BYU team that had a bunch of players who went on missions and then they came back and they were similarly aged. But average age 24.2, I mean, that's super duper old. And that is the starting lineup Memphis could have on January 1st if DeAndre Williams is given that extra year of eligibility. And like I said, if DeAndre Williams gets eligible and joins the roster currently in place, even minus Mikey Williams, the 5-star prospect from California, Memphis would come in at 13th in the preseason Bart Torvik rankings. And I think you would then see the people who vote in the AP poll, coaches poll, and any of us who have our own rankings, daily or otherwise, we would all move Memphis into, I would assume, the top 20, maybe the top 15. And you could even convince yourself, if you try just a little bit, to maybe get them into the top 10. Just a few months ago, it looked like